Hi, Sarah from the upcoming. Lovely to meet you. So Stratton, an absolutely action-packed film, some incredible stunts in there, some of which I know you did yourself. What was your experience of making this film?
Well, I think I was quite daunted by the prospect of the action, and because I came to it very late. But I just loved it. I loved learning how to drive the speedboats. I loved the skills which were so important to learn about very specifically with the weapons work. The Special Boat Service, like the Navy SEALs, go from deep sea diving onto boats, onto land, carrying all their equipment, and then have to be extraordinarily focused in an environment that's terribly volatile, and they have to know such specific areas that I knew very little about, but I loved the training.
And we've got the action-packed Stratton, sort of the horror and gore of Preacher, and then Mamma Mia 2 on the horizon. So how do you move between these different characters, and what do you like from each?
I think I like that they're so different. I think with this work, it does consume a lot of your life and time. You're there, you're on set so much. So actually jumping between those, suddenly going from explosions and driving Alfa Romeos around the city of Rome to singing and dancing and doing something that's just completely, utterly different is exactly what I trained for in the first place and exactly what I wanted to get involved in.
And after playing Ian Fleming, this sort of James Bond type character in Stratton, do you think after Daniel Craig hands up his hat you'll be?
Never going to hand up his hat. Hang up his hat. No, he's not. No, he's never. No, he's too good. He's just too good. He's just too good at it. He was such a great Bond. But yeah, if he's offering.
And I hear you said you had to hear that Tom Hiddleston took up a role that you were after at one point. Can you shed any light?
It was a joke, yeah. That was a joke. Did it not come across as a joke?
Just checking. Thanks very much, and well done on a fantastic film. Thank you.
I think that it's because it's a world which we know so little about. Because it's so obviously hidden. Right? It's hidden that the techniques that we use to protect our country. The Special Boat Service I knew much less about than the Navy SEALs. And I love the idea that they're not elaborate, they're not over the top, they're not physically trained to the point where they're very distinctive. They're undercover operatives. And I think our fascination with that is that, one, we always kind of relish the idea of it, the hero, the secrecy, the travel, the complexities of it growing up. But actually the reality of it is quite lonely and quite sad and very demanding and very skilled. And for me, speaking from my perspective, just seeing and reading about it, I was intrigued and kind of wanted to know more. So that, with the conversations and with how specific those missions have to be, coinciding with actually seeing the action, I think makes for films that people really enjoy, which is why the Bond franchise continues to gather more and more pace and get better and better, as does the Bourne franchise. With this kind of material, actually, it's extraordinarily important that you trust that person. So knowing full well that he knew exactly how to construct these sequences, which we didn't have a huge amount of time or a huge budget to do, but knowing that he knew very specifically what he needed without any sort of flesh, which meant that we were doing exactly the right amount of action, we were getting what we needed in the day, and I trusted in terms of the safety, but also the kind of spectacle of it. It had to be huge, it had to be dramatic and elaborate, but it also had to fit with the budget of our film. It's peculiar, but wonderful. You know, we haven't seen each other for a very long time, and we're entering back into a world in which we probably had the best time. It was some of the most fondest memories of all of our lives. We were on a beach, occasionally singing, but going out for meals in the evening, getting to know one another, and all really getting on. So what I love is that they've found a storyline, or someone's written something that is good enough to stand up, coincide with the music they still have, and the story really works, and it's going to be a great fun, exciting movie. We're all there. We're all there, having seen it. All a bit baggy around the jowls, and all a bit more sunburnt. I've been very privileged in just being allowed to play that role. And it's been tough, but when I read those comics and when I met Seth Rogen and Sam Catlin, the showrunner, and I realised to what extent they wanted to make this crazed maniac of a man, bring him to the screen and bring the other characters to the screen, I was desperate to do it. And I think that they've done it so well, and I'm really hoping that Sony and AMC have been so brave already to bring it to the screen, but I hope they continue to do so, because there's so much more of that comic to tell. So I don't like to say that yet, because I don't know for sure, but it's looking pretty certain, yeah, which is going to be great fun. And again, that TV show has so much scope and so much further to go. And so I hope they do, because they've been so daring so far, and the wealth of kind of disgust and intrigue from the comics that we have left to show on the screen, I think it would be a real shame not to let everyone see that.